Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Janet Yung, and in my channel I share about Feng Shui, Bazi, entrepreneurship as well as personal growth, especially in the areas of communication, success and motivation. In today's episode, it will be a continuation of the clashes, combinations as well as persecuting clash that I shared about for the last 2 weeks. So today is part 3 in this particular series on what in Bazi can trigger mental as well as emotional health issues. Without further ado, let's move on to the next segment. In the last 2 episodes, I talked about persecuting clash and then clash, and today I'll be focusing more on harm. So if you have missed the last 2 episodes, please remember to click on the link that I'm showing here, or you can visit the video description where I have inserted all the relevant videos and their links for your reference and viewing. And if you're new to my channel, welcome, and I hope you enjoy my sharing today as well. Today's episode, I'm going to talk about harms. So there are certain combinations within our chart, whether is it present natal, that means what you're born with, as well as if it comes either in your 10-year luck pillar or in an annual animal branch pillar that comes to cause a harm relationship within your chart. Now, if you do not have your chart, please do visit bazicalculator.janetyong.com or refer to this link or the link in the video description to get your free Bazi chart. Let's talk about harm. So before I talk about the impact of harm either within the natal chart or when it comes from an external factor coming into your chart itself, I'll first talk about all the various different combinations. The first one is basically rat and goat. The next is ox and horse. So this year, it's the year of the ox. So if you have a horse within your chart, there is a harm relationship. What it means, I'll explain a little later on. The next one is basically tiger and snake. So next year is the year of the tiger. So if you do have a snake, do listen up as to what can happen and how you can prevent. Followed by the rabbit and dragon. And then we have the monkey and pig, as well as the rooster and the dog. So total there are 6 pairs of harm relationships that we need to take care of. Now, in a harm relationship itself, usually there are a couple of things that happen. One is if this combination of the harm, like I mentioned earlier on, is within your chart. This is a perception of you versus the rest of the parties, whether it's in your year, then it could be the perception of yourself with your bigger company environment, your grandparents or your boss's boss. If it is within the month, then it will be either with your parents, with your immediate boss or your immediate department. If it is within the day, then it's with your siblings, with your partner, with your spouse, or if it is within the hour in terms of the combination, it is with either your subordinates, your children, or people younger than you. So how does this happen? Like the term harm, it means you view the world, especially if it is within your chart itself, you view that the other party is intending to create a certain harm. Therefore, because there's this combination, you feel that you're cornered to do certain things that you're not willing to do. That's one. 2, it's basically you view that the other person has ill intentions or they are not appreciative of what you do. So that's what it means by harm. Now, if the harm is present in your 10-year luck pillar or the year pillar itself, then it could be external circumstances that brings about this perception. So maybe all along you don't have this issue because it's not within your natal chart or birth chart, but the 10-year luck pillar came along or the years pillar came along, something happened in the external environment that causes you to have this particular perception of feeling cornered or feeling harmed by whatever circumstances that happen. It is then critical for us to be aware so that we do not react emotionally. Similarly, like what I mentioned in whether it's clashes or persecuting clash itself, it generally means that if you are aware, then you can take certain steps to address it, especially for 2022 because it's the tiger year. And if you have both the monkey, which then have a clash, as well as the snake, because not only you have a clash, you also have a harm relationship, and then on top of that, the tiger, monkey and snake forms a tri-persecuting clash like I mentioned earlier on. So what do you do about this whole thing? In the next part of this video, I'll share on tips of what you can do. So tip number one, like always, it's crucial to be aware. Once you have awareness of these combinations within your chart, after you examine either whether is it within your natal chart or because it's a 10-year luck pillar or the years pillar coming in to cause these harm relationship, you will then be able to understand your emotions and why you are feeling this particular way when most times you don't. So unlike a clash, like I mentioned in last week's video, when there is a clash, usually you will speak up. But in a harm relationship, most times you may tolerate it because you feel cornered and harmed due to a certain circumstance, and at the same time you're not able to voice it out because you understand that this is going to happen. For a harm relationship itself, it's usually a lot more internal. And if you are not aware and take steps to address it, at times it can bring about health issues, because from a health perspective, if you allow the harm combination to affect you emotionally, causing you sleepless nights and restlessness, then internally you're not able to release. Therefore, with the cortisol levels and stress levels going up, it may cause you health issues in the longer term. So this is something that you need to be a little bit more careful and be aware of. Now, how do we then take the next step once you have this understanding and awareness of what's going to happen? In a situation where it is a lot of times self-perception, especially when it's present within your natal chart, then it's crucial to check that it is not just your perception. So for instance, I had a client who thought that in every working environment, she feels that the immediate superior does not appreciate what she does, and therefore from a career perspective, she feels that she's stagnated, and whenever she feels she's stagnated, she resigns and move on to the next job. And after a session where I shared with her that it could be just her perception, she should just check it out and have a heart-to-heart communication with her immediate superior who assesses her performance. What she found out to her surprise was that actually the immediate boss or superior appreciates what she does and recognizes and even gave her recognition by giving her more work and responsibility. So from checking out that it is not just your perception causing you unhappiness, and making sure that other people appreciate whatever that you do by having this open communication is crucial, because it basically opens up any line of miscommunication and you're able to match your superior's expectation and be able to do much better and be recognized. So that's second step, which is open communication with whomever you feel that there could be this harm relationship or being cornered. The third tip that I would like to address would be, now if after checking your self-perception and it is true that you have to be careful of the other party, then in a harm relationship, or especially during a tri-persecuting clash, laying out the terms and conditions either within your employment agreement or if it's a partnership agreement, the contract itself, it's crucial. In Chinese, sometimes we call this 先小人后君子. What does this mean? It means playing the devil's advocate before you follow and comply with the conditions. Because in this particular environment, then you're able to protect your interests as well as be very clear as to your personal boundaries or the contract boundaries, so that you do not feel that you are cornered. So every time there is a tri-persecuting clash, or especially when there's a harm relationship, I think it is crucial that you take steps. Number one, to clarify in terms of condition. Number two is, if after clarifying you are still having doubts and you are uncomfortable, it is crucial for you to lay down all the terms and conditions. Make sure that you look at all the details before you sign the agreement or contract. So that's my third step. Then, of course, the fourth step, like in any other case, there is no point sitting there worrying about these situations. The next thing that you can do is basically take the necessary step to move towards your long-term goal. All this while I've shared that once either you tap to your guardian and understand your life purpose, or go through the personality profiling using the Asian personality profiling and understand your profile, what is your potential, how you can maximize it, taking steps to basically build the skill sets towards your longer term goal. Even if you're having this annual experience or 10-year luck pillar experience where you feel cornered, harm, you can still look at the end goal, which is like the light at the end of the tunnel where you can move towards, because there's nothing that can be done. You cannot really control other people's reaction. You can only control and manage your own emotions and response moving forward so that you can attain your longer term goal. So that's the end of what I'd like to share today. Let me go through the 3 tips again. Number 1, have the awareness so that you are not caught off guard as to why you are feeling emotional or feeling harmed or cornered. Number 2, clarify and ensure there's open communication so that you know that it's not just your perception alone, that it may be a misunderstanding on your part. The third tip is, after you clarify and you find that you're still uncomfortable with the situation, take steps to protect yourself, lay things out in the open. If you need to, write everything in black and white and follow according to the principles and KPIs, or if you necessary, just walk away. And of course, the last tip is, take this as a step or a learning for yourself of how you can then utilize the lessons that you learn to move towards your longer term goal or life purpose, based either on your profile or your 奇门遁甲 guardian. I hope you enjoyed what I've shared today, and thank you for taking time. In next week, I'll be sharing more about self-punishment, and I look forward to seeing you on my channel again next week. Till then, goodbye.